There's a moment in every anime studio's life where they're handed the IP of a lifetime. The one IP that will cement their studio in anime history. When you think of Toei Animation, you think of One Piece, Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon. When you think of David Animation, you think of JoJo, White Fox with Steins Gate and Re:Zero, MAPPA with JJK and Chainsaw Man. Each of these studios has the power to bring these stories to life. But with that power, they also have the same ability to completely ruin your favorite anime. Let me ask you something, okay? And be honest, I'll know when you're lying. How many times have you loved an anime and the studio that created it completely botched their adaptation? Whether it's about animation, their release schedule, or not getting another season in over 11 years, in today's video, we're gonna be ranking the worst decisions every anime studio has ever made. Subscribe, like, support small creators like me, and fuck Jack. Before this video starts, I just want to say no hate to any of these studios at all. These are some of the greatest anime studios of all time, and they give their blood, sweat, tears, and semen to the product that we're watching every day. And sometimes for free, because you know, some of us be watching illegally. Not me though, I'll be watching like those paid websites. So yes, they might fucked up a few times, maybe more, you know, maybe they completely botched my favorite adaptation or not giving another season. But without these studios, our hobby would not be possible. So shout out to these studios. But with that out of the way, let's talk about their fucking up. Let's start with number 10, Studio Shaft. Studio Shaft is known for Bakemonogatari, Madoka Magica, and March Comes In Like a Lion. And their biggest sin is not renewing another season for Nisekoi. How come the most popular rom-com of all time, top 132 in anime, top 45 in manga, over 1 million total members in MAL, that this anime just completely disappeared? Guys, this wasn't some niche show, okay? Nisekoi might be the best rom-com of all time. And that's coming from me, a rom-com expert. Maybe not in real life because I never had a girlfriend, and the one time I tried, it was an emo girl. To give context, it's been 11 years since Nisekoi Season 2 came out. I was 11 in grade 6 when I watched it in 2019. The first day of middle school, I finished the manga, and the last day of high school, I finished the manga again, because no way that 6 years has passed, I went from a young boy to a teenager to a young adult, and Nisekoi still hasn't had another season at all. Like, what the hell? So safe to say, Nisekoi has been stuck to my ass like hemorrhoids. What went wrong? Okay, why did Studio Shaft just say like, oh, fuck you Nisekoi, I'm gonna adapt something else? Well, we actually know the reason why Studio Shaft actually didn't adapt another season of Nisekoi, and that was because of the fact that there was a huge decline in interest with season 2. Combine that with the subpar sales in both Blu-ray and DVD, and you got the recipe for an anime not getting another season, especially including that the manga has already ended around that time. In Studio Shaft's eyes, there was really no point in risking all this profit and money into making another season of Nisekoi. But I believe now, more than ever, if Nisekoi somehow released today, especially with the whole pandemic of Gunnar anime that has come out, like Dress Up Darling, Osaki-chan, and Komi Can Communicate, Nisekoi would dominate the charts if it had another season. But who knows? I mean, Devil's a Part-Timer got another season after 11 years. Surely later in the year, maybe they'll announce Nisekoi season 3? Who knows? I don't know. Please, I'll pay you. Next studio is JC Staff. JC Staff is known for Danmachi, Toradora, and Bakuman. And their biggest sin is One Punch Man Season 3. I don't even want to show you the clips, but from what I've seen, it's a downright slap in the face to everyone who loved One Punch Man back in the day. I understand there was a lot of internal problems that happened during production. Like for example, production began only 7 months before its release, and they didn't want to change the deadline. Also, the staff was very limited because some of them were working on other projects as well, and I'm sure working on it was absolute hell. But that's why I'm gonna give an expert's opinion, even though I'm not an expert. If they really had no time at all to adapt season 3, they could have just delayed it. We could have just, 2027, here goes One Punch Man season 3, and it would have been much more better. Because what they just released was nowhere near enjoyable. I actually don't know who's the target audience for this, like for the thing they just released. Because it's not shonen fans. The fight scenes are literally just like PowerPoint presentation. It was bad. Every aspect of it was horrible. This wasn't some obscure, never before seen anime that no one really cares about. This wasn't some slice of life anime that, you know, JC Staff is known for. Psyche and Toradora had more animation than One Punch Man. And that's completely crazy because this is One Punch Man. You know how popular this IP is. Every episode is like some big ass fight. And now everybody will remember this botch forever, and it's just a stain in your company name. I still can't believe this sort of thing still happens in 2026. The single scene of him sliding through the grass, they really should have been ashamed of themselves. Listen, I know my JC staff. I love Danmachi, I love Toradora. I'm sure if they were given enough time, they would have made something that's enjoyable for everyone. But because of internal conflicts and people prioritizing, money over creative integrity, we got one of the worst anime in existence. The next studio is Cloverworks. Cloverworks is known for Spy X Family, Dress Up Darling, and Horror Mia. And their biggest sin is whatever the fuck happened with Promised Neverland Season 2. There's really not enough slurs for me to say about this season of Promised Neverland. I don't even want to talk about it. I already talked about this in my anime that deserves a reboot, so if you're curious, check it out. But to give the synopsis, the people in charge of Promised Neverland Season 2 decided to end the series in one season while adapting 100 chapters of the manga. So in order to do that, they had to skip one of the best arcs in the series like it was nothing. And mind you, that was the best arc in the series. People compared it to skipping the Pain arc in Naruto and the Enies Lobby arc in One Piece. And that's not even the worst part. The worst part is even though they skipped one of the most important arc in the series, the important stuff that happened in that arc had to be speedrun because they were dead set into adapting the entire manga who had 100 plus chapters left. So they had the impossible task to adapting the manga fully that has like 1,000,000 chapters into 6 episodes. Mind you, season 1 only adapted 32 chapters of the manga. There's 135. What do they think that was gonna happen? What was the plan? Clearly, whoever was in charge of Promised Neverland Season 2 did not have any respect for the IP. It was so embarrassing that the writers had to remove their names off the credits in the last 2 episodes because clearly no one wanted to be part of this. And that's really unfortunate because Promised Neverland Season 1 was praised for its mystery and thriller aspect. But again, the higher up said no, and maybe, let's work on Dress Up Darling instead. Next up is A1 Pictures. A1 Pictures is known for Love is War, Fairy Tail, and Your Lie on April. And their biggest sin is the adaptation for Sword Art Online. I don't really know what's going on with this one, but when I was researching, there was a lot of people that's saying it about A1 Pictures, so I was like, oh, what the hell? I never heard of this. And as I was researching more, it seems like the fandom was kind of little divided on this in Reddit, on Twitter, on all other social platforms. Personally, I never had a problem watching any A1 Pictures anime. Love is War is great. I love Fairy Tail. I never had a problem with SAO. But there's a lot of discourse around A1 Pictures and the Sword Art Online community, specifically the light novel enthusiasts. They're apparently angry that A1 Pictures cut down a lot of stuff from the light novel, sometimes downright even changing stuff in the show. Like for example, Kyoto in the anime appears to be a really overpowered protagonist with a harem, while in the light novel, he was a way more deeper character than they made it up to be. But again, I still don't know anything about the SAO drama. I'm not involved with it. Allegations are not true. I was gonna say fan service was the problem with A1 Pictures because most of their anime, Fairy Tail and SAO, are very much hated because of the overwhelming amount of fan service they add to the anime. But I can't say that's their biggest sin because, seeing boobs makes me happy. I don't really care. Show them. I don't care. The next studio is Studio Bones. Studio Bones is known for My Hero Academia, Noragami, and Mob Psycho. And their biggest sin is making anime original endings. Both Soul Eater and Fullmetal Alchemist received an anime original ending with an anime original story. Right after they catch up to the original source material, instead of halting production for the next season, they decided to end their series right there and there and just made shit up. No new seasons, no adapting the manga, just pure creative control. Now, to be fair, they did make Brotherhood. It's one of the greatest animes of all time. Points to them. But just imagine if they didn't. Brotherhood, top anime of all time. My top one of all time. personally speaking. And it almost didn't happen because, you know, they fucked up the first one. That's why I think if Soul Eater, another anime that had an anime original ending fucked up by Studio Bones, if Soul Eater had another chance to prove itself like Brotherhood, maybe it'd be considered as one of the greatest anime of all time as well. I mean, the anime only adapted 30% of its source material until they decided to end the series with an anime original ending. And it's been 18 years since the anime came out. Frankly, I'm 19. I was 1 year old when they were making that anime, and there's still no like a Brotherhood treatment. Come on. Studio Bones, I know you're done with My Hero Academia. Nobody cares about Vigilante. That's a lie. I care about Vigilante. But like, come on. You're done with a big project. Give us Soul Eater. Soul Eater sisterhood. Next one is WIT Studio. WIT Studio is known for Attack on Titan, Vinland Saga, and Spy X Family. And their biggest sin is giving their IPs away to MAPPA. First of all, I have no problem with how MAPPA does his projects. No problem at all. Attack on Titan final season, you know, it's perfect. I don't really care. I have a problem with WIT Studio just like giving stuff away. WIT Studio built Attack on Titan from the ground up. Season 1 to Season 3, Attack on Titan was their blood, sweat, and tears. And then just before the final stretch of the series, they just let their baby go. Same thing with Vinland Saga. You found something that was supposed to be your next AOT. But once again, MAPPA swooped in and took it while WIT Studio stood there like a fucking bitch. I do understand WIT Studio could not handle all the stress and production of AOT, and for Vinland Saga, they just want to, you know, explore other projects. But it's just sad that, you know, WIT Studio had to let go of Attack on Titan. That was their baby because of like financial stuff and like not enough time for it. Because it's sad, okay? They could easily rush through, you know, Attack on Titan like JC Staff did to One Punch Man. But they respected the IP so much that they made the tough decision to just give it to another parent. But where the fuck is Seraph of the End Season 3 WIT Studio? I will fucking find you. I don't want to even say that. I was gonna say something bad, really bad. Good thing I stopped myself. But like, you know, I will find you. Keep working on that imaginary One Piece, you know, reboot you guys keep pretending to be working at. Come on, give me, you know, please, Seraph of the End, bro. Next up is David Production. David Production is known for the entire series of JoJo, Fire Force, and Cells at Work. And their biggest sin is partnering with Netflix. I don't need to tell you why they should not partner with Netflix. You've seen the memes, you've seen the comments, we all know what happened with Stone Ocean, you've seen the desperation that some fans have been forced to indulge in. Stone Ocean could have been massive, but instead it got completely buried due to Netflix's horrible release schedule. Now the same thing might happen to Steel Ball Run. Why release episode 1 in March and episode 2 has no release date? Why? Who decided this? What sort of like, you know, release schedule are they following? David Production dealing with Netflix might be the worst thing that ever happened to JoJo. It's so weird that Netflix series are either a weekly occurrence or like it's released almost instantly. This is the first time I ever seen this like weird like release schedule. I actually like, what? You release it in March, but leaks are saying the episode 2 is in May. Like, what are we doing? Okay, next up is MAPPA. MAPPA is known for JJK, Attack on Titan final season, and Chainsaw Man. And their biggest sin is adapting too many big projects. Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, Attack on Titan. Visually, these animes are pretty stunning, but on the inside, we all know how horrible the deadlines are with MAPPA. There have already many reports that came out that MAPPA is downright overworking their animators and artists. And speaking frankly, as an anime fan, I don't want to support and enjoy something that the creators or the people working on the project, you know, didn't enjoy. It just feels really weird for me, okay? Yes, MAPPA doesn't miss, but again, to what cost? You know, if it costs like, oh, people, you know, having anxiety or like, you know, stress, overworking, and they feel tired, I do not want that. I want people to be working on my favorite show and say, I am glad to be working on it. You know, once they're finished, like, oh yes, finally, bro, this is magnum opus. Same thing, you know, for me, I'm a YouTuber. After I finish like a big project, I'll be like, yes, let's go, baby. But they finished. Next up is Kyoto Animation. Kyoto Animation is known for Violet Evergarden, Silent Voice, and Kian. And their biggest sin is absolutely nothing. I looked at their lineup, okay? They have not missed a single time. But if they do have a biggest sin, their biggest sin is probably not taking too many risks. Kyoto Animation is seen as a really good anime studio who has made some pretty good masterpieces. But when you're that good, playing it safe kinda becomes noticeable. You rarely see them take a wild, unpredictable IP in their lineup. While their lineup is not bad per se, I feel like they're still missing that punch of a franchise that will like help their studio out even more. But who knows, you know, to any Kyoto Animation employees that's watching the video, you guys might be one step away from legendary tier to like all time. Or you know, you could just make 5 movies about guys swimming. It's your choice. Lastly, we got Madhouse. Studio Madhouse is known for Death Note, Hunter x Hunter, and Free Rent. And their biggest sin is not renewing No Game No Life Season 2. Studio Madhouse has been here for a long time. They have made bangers throughout the 2 decades. They have made 397 different anime. And with that, you probably think they made a lot of mistakes. For example, I still blame them for ending Claymore the way they did. But nothing haunts anime fans more than No Game No Life. No Game No Life is Madhouse's 4th most popular anime, right next to Death Note, One Punch Man, and Hunter x Hunter. And somehow, No Game No Life still hasn't had a season 2 in a decade and a half. And the craziest part is, it's not like No Game No Life manga fell off. The manga was still really popular in the late 2010, but somehow Madhouse still refused to give it another season despite giving it a prequel movie 3 years later. But again, I don't know what goes inside these anime studios' brains. I'm not an anime studio maker. I don't want to be an anime studio employee. Sometimes they do good stuff. Sometimes they do really stupid shit. Subscribe, like, support small creators like me. I love you guys. Real one say back.